This conference will now be recorded.
Program to print prime numbers. Okay. Few people are saying they have problem with understanding the logic. Okay, try to understand today. Be with full focus. Okay, let's try to understand today. At least after today, you should be in a position to write a prime numbers program in both the ways. Okay, so anyhow, admin people are expecting couple of more guys in a day or two. So let's go in slow phase for today. The program to print prime numbers, that is a problem, right? What is the user input? What is the input we need to get from user? We need to get one number from the user. Say for example, if user provides 20, I need to print all the prime numbers which are less than 20, right? That is the problem. So first I need to get one number from the user. Let me get one number. N equals to int input, enter a number. Okay, this line is very familiar to us. I don't think anyone has any question about this line number 2. Okay, it is prompting for a number. User will enter one number. That number will be converted into integer and that will be assigned to variable n. Then what I have to do? I have to check all the numbers which are less than n. For example, 1 to n, I need to iterate. From number 1 to number n, I have to iterate and I have to check whether the given number is prime number or not. So for that, what I'll do is I'll write one for loop. For some x in range 1 comma n plus 1. 1 comma n plus 1. What it will do? It will iterate n number of times and up to n value. If I give 20 for example, from 1 to 20, the loop will be iterated, right? Then for each number, for each x value, I have to check whether x is a prime number or not. To check a given number is prime number or not, we have already written a logic yesterday. The same logic we can use. Okay. For now, I'll take one counter variable. Counter equals to 0. Okay. I will run another loop for I in range of 1 comma x plus 1. 1 comma x plus 1. Why I am taking x plus 1? Yesterday we have only one number. User will enter one number. Only that number I have to check whether it is a prime number or not. In this scenario, I have to check x whether x is a prime number or not. Why? Because x is my iterative variable from 1 to n. From 1 to n, x will be iterating. That x I need to check whether it is a prime number or not. Okay, so the logic is same. I'm just writing the logic, same logic. Counter equals to counter plus 1. Okay, this is the logic. After the for loop, after the inner for loop, after this for loop, I have to check the counter value. If counter equals to 2, then print. Here I don't have to print a prime number, not prime number like that. I just want to print the number. That's it. Which number I have to print? I have to print the x. Okay. Let me explain you again. So this is the logic. From line number 4 to line number 9 is the logic to check some x number is a prime number or not. What it will do, it will take what it will do, it will take one number and it will check whether a number is a prime number or not, and if it is a prime number, it will print that number. Okay. K Ganesh, where I have taken 2 in the if condition. Okay, this if condition, this yesterday we discussed, right? So counter value will become 2 if it is having 2 factors, for example. So from 1 to n we will be checking, and if that is divisible, we are incrementing the counter. Oh, sorry, here, right? I'm sorry, it's my mistake. X modulus I. Correct. Sorry, it's a typing mistake. Yeah. Okay, let me run this program. Run prime numbers program. I give 19, for example. I got all the prime numbers which are less than 19. I'll run again. I set 10, for example. It's printing 2, 3, 5, 7. The prime numbers are printed here, right? So any difficulty in understanding this program? Anybody is having any problem? Or do you take this program and debug by yourself and understand, or you want me to explain? You tell me, based on that I can proceed. Okay, I'm just sharing this program in the chat window. Anyhow, I'll be copying this to Google Drive. What I recommend you is, I strongly recommend you to do practice with this program today. Okay, how you have to practice? Take one paper and pen or notepad, uh, execute line by line. Okay, this line is executed. What would be the output? What would be the variable value? What would be the memory, calculation I'm going to do? Each and every step, each and every word you have to understand. Okay, and try to debug it. So here also, if user has given 10, for example, replace the value here, 10 plus 1, that is 11. Here 11 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up to 10, that values will be considered as a collection here. Okay, so for every iteration of the outer loop, the counter value will become 0. Once for x value 1, for one x value, if the loop is executed, the body of the loop is executed, then counter value will become 0. Again, for the next iteration, counter value will become 0. Like that, it happens. So I strongly recommend you to debug this program on your paper or notepad. Line by line execution, you should understand. Okay, if you face any difficulty or if you don't understand somewhere, please let me know. I can help you in the next class. Is it clear? I hope everyone can do it and will do it. Send me your updates with the email, through email. Okay, then let's go to our topic. So what we were discussing, we were discussing about class and object. So everyone got idea about what is class and what is an object. What is a class? Class is basically a user defined data type. We can say it is a blueprint also. Okay, it is virtual. Physical existence is not available for the class. What class contains? Class contains members and member functions, or variables and methods, you can say simply. Class contains variables and methods. That's it. Clear? Next, coming to the object. What is an object? Object is the instance of a class. Okay, it is an instance of a class, or you can say it's a real-time entity for a class. Okay. Also, we have discussed about some example, like have you ever seen a fruit or tree, something like that I have asked yesterday. So based on that, we got some clarity like what is virtual and what is real. Okay, fruit is virtual, apple, mango, banana, they are real. Tree is virtual, neem tree, mango tree, guava tree, they are real. Okay, whatever you are seeing in the real world, the trees or fruits, car, any object you can mention, any houses, anything what you can see in the real time, you can relate to your class and object. Okay, so you got I hope you got idea about what is class and what is object. Clear? Next you need to understand constructor. Constructor is used to constructor. It is used to initialize variables, initialize class variables or instance variables. For now, just remember only one statement. Constructor is something we need to understand as part of object-oriented programming, that is used to initialize the instance variables. For now, remember like this. I'll be talking in detail about this constructor. Okay, let me write one class for you and show it to you how it looks like. So the basic class or syntax, maybe I can take one new file. So say first class. How to define a class? Okay, class, I have to use the variable class. Okay, maybe I can say from student, some student I'll say. Okay, class is the keyword or reserved word in Python which will tell you like you are going to declare a class. Student is a class name, it's the name of the class. Okay, also I can say student is a identifier. Student can also be known as identifier. We can tell student also an identifier. What is an identifier? When we discussed about identifier, I told you like there are some rules we need to follow while creating an identifier. If you are declaring a variable, that variable is a identifier. If you are declaring a function, if you are defining a function, function name is also an identifier. When you are writing a class, class name is also an identifier. Okay, if you remember, we have certain rules while writing the identifiers. Okay, to write this name here, student name here, we got some rules. Okay, it should not contain any special characters. It should not contain any special characters like percentile symbol, dollar symbol, hash symbol, like that. If you are providing any special characters, it will give you compile time error. It should not belongs to any reserved word. We should not use any keyword or reserved word. For example, if I say class if, what happens here? It will give you error. Identifier expected here, not the keyword. We should not use any reserved word here. We should not use any special characters here. Okay. Let me write like this. So I cannot use any special characters here, and I cannot start my class name with numbers or special. Of course, special characters are not allowed. I should not start my identifier name with numbers. Okay. It is allowed. It is allowed to start with a character or underscore, an alphabet or underscore. Okay. This is how we have to create a class name. The same rules which we have learnt for declaring a variable, for declaring a function, the same rules will be applicable for declaring a class also. Okay, that point you have to remember. The rules for identifiers are common. Okay, say for example, I declared a class space student. Inside this class, I'll be having some methods and some variables I can declare. So if required, I can declare some variable like maybe college name equals to some SLC. I'll provide. This is a variable. Okay, I'll declare a method, for example, maybe some grade method. Okay, here I'll write some logic to calculate, or I can say for now pass. Okay, so if you see this class name I have to provide, then I can declare my variables if required. I can define my methods. Okay, it's a collection of methods and variables. Okay, here I have written one line. Here I have written one line. What does it mean? It's a description of the class. If you want to provide some description to your class, you can provide here. It is a kind of documentation technique. Okay, how you can provide? After declaring a class name colon, after that using triple quotes you can provide some text. Okay, if someone is creating an object for your class later, maybe in another program or in the same file of the program, if someone is creating an object, they can access that. Print s dot underscore underscore doc. Okay, let me run this and we'll talk about this in a moment. So if I run this, see here, I got the test. Okay, in the test is coming from here. Instead of test, you can provide some description here. Student data class, something I'm providing. Okay, it's like your description of the class. You can provide some description of the class so that when somebody is consuming your class, they can understand the description. They can get some basic idea. Okay, when you want to use my class, you have to use this way. You have to declare so and so variables. You have to pass so and so values. Like that, if you want to provide him some notes, you can provide here. That is known as class description. Okay, or generally it is known as documentation string. This is its purpose is for documentation. This is known as a documentation string. I think this is clear to everyone. Next, if there are any class related variables, there are some different types of variables. Now I'm not talking about the types. I'll be explaining you with the examples. For now, assume that you can have some variables in your class. Okay, you can have some variables in your class. Variables are nothing but the data. So in the variables, you will be assigning the data using different techniques, and you can use them. So data, you can say, variable, you can say, property, you can say, all are belongs to same. Okay, it's a collection of variables and methods. You can declare some methods also, and variables and methods, they are optional. On need basis only you can create variables, only you can create methods also. Okay, and then we have one more special method. One special method we have, that is init pass. Okay, I'm using pass keyword because I want to define this method later. Okay, for now I don't want to write any statements here. Simply I'm just defining a method. So I have declared one method here. I defined one method. Define def space underscore underscore init underscore underscore self. Okay, what does it mean? This is a constructor. This is a constructor. If you compare with other programming languages, C++, Java, C#, .NET or VB.NET or any other programming language, for any object-oriented programming languages, we will be having the constructors. Okay. The difference is in other programming languages, we will have a constructor with the same name as the class name. Okay, constructor name and the class name will be same in other OOPS programming languages. Coming to the Python, constructor name would be like this. Underscore underscore init would be the constructor name. Okay. For most of the methods, actually we call them as instance based methods. So when you're writing instance based methods, you have to pass at least one parameter, that is self. You have to pass one parameter, that is self. So I'll show you some examples for better understanding about the self also. Just try to understand the keywords we are seeing here. Okay, this is a instance based method. This is a instance based method or constructor. Actually it's a constructor. Here I have to pass at least one method, one parameter, that is self. Self means self represents the current object. Self represents the current object. If I create one object and if I'm performing some operations, self will represent to that current object. Okay, so if you want to compare in other programming languages, we have this. Okay, we have this. It is like self is like this keyword. Okay, So this is something about a class, like a class name, some documentation string. This is, of course, it is optional. If you want, you can use it. Some variables we can declare, some methods you can declare, and some one constructor you can have. Okay, and next, how to declare an object for the class. If you want to declare an object for the class, how you have to do? This is the syntax. You can provide any variable name here, some object name equals to class name, and you have to provide the parenthesis, class name and parenthesis. If you are calling like this, it will create one object for the class. Okay, this is the class, this is the blueprint, this is the object, S is the object. When the line number 11 gets executed, what happens is, based on the variables available in this class, some block in the memory will be allocated, some space in the memory will be allocated. After line number 11's execution, we will have the real-time entity of student class, or instance of the student class will be available. Then onwards, if required, you can access those methods. You can access those methods, you can access those variables, like that. Okay, if you want to perform some operations here, you can access those variables. Of course, there are some rules to access them, we'll be seeing with examples later. Okay, so got some idea about how to declare a class, and what are the different things we can see in the class. There are some more things, but these are the basic things and initial things. We will be seeing with examples, and how to create an object creation. If you get at least this much knowledge, I will show with this example. What is self is denoting? Ganesh. Okay, self is denoting, after line number 11's execution, self will denote S. Okay, for S you will be feeding some data, that data will be referred here. Okay, I'll show you example in a moment. Okay, so at least try to understand the structure for now, try to understand the keywords you are seeing on the screen for now. Any questions about any part so far we discussed? Class declaration, optionally you can provide a documentation string, you can declare variables, you can have methods, you can have constructor also. How to declare an object, how to define an object, how to create an object, this is how you have to create. S equals to class name and parenthesis, this will create an object. If you want to access this documentation string, you have to say s dot object dot underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. This will give you the documentation string. Next, later if you want to access s dot grade, this is the method I have, s dot grade. So you can access it. You want to access the class variables, you can access the variables. Okay, that way we can do. So let me write one meaningful example so that you can understand. Okay, I'll take first, let us begin with the first class. Say class first class, for example, I'll say. Okay, okay, this is the documentation string. This is the documentation string, that's it. I did not provide anything else. For example, say obj equals to first class, print obj dot underscore underscore doc. Do we have any difficulty in understanding this part? I just declared one class. I just declared one class. I have just provided only documentation string. I did not provide any, I did not define any methods, I did not define any constructor here. Okay, here I have created the object, creating object. Okay, I just created the object. After creating the object, I am calling the documentation string. So I'm referring to the documentation string. So I don't think any difficulty understanding in this program. Is it clear to everyone? If yes, I'll go to the next program. Yes, okay. So you understand the structure of the class, and you understand how to create a um, object. Okay, let's go with another example. Let me add one more file. I'll say cls2 for example. Let me write one student class. Okay, class student. Okay, now I'll provide a documentation string like a student info class something. Okay, I provided here. Next, what I'll do is I'll define one constructor. Constructor is used to initialize the variables. Instance variables. Okay, there are different types of variables we will be seeing. For now, remember instance variables are object related variables. Okay, so I'll write some variables here. Self dot name equals to say SLC. Okay, self dot maybe college equals to SLC new. Okay, SLC would be college name. Student name, let us say some random name I'm giving. Okay, so self dot course equals to Python. Okay, so if I write like this, what does it mean? What does it mean? In my class student, I have three instance variables. Those variables are name, college, and course. The variables are name, college, and course. What are the values for them? For name, I have provided the value Kumar. For college, SLC. For course, Python. Okay. So these are the three variables that are available when I create an object. Okay. Let me create an object and show you. Like object equals to, say for example, S1 equals to student. Okay. Sorry, student. Print S1 dot name. Can I do this way? Let me run class 2. Okay, let me print all actually. Print s1 dot college, print s1 dot s1 dot course. Okay, so let me run this. Done. Kumar SLC Python. I'm able to print them. Okay, so what happened here? So if I'm running this program, I have a class here. And inside the class, I have one constructor here. One constructor is available here. What is the purpose of the constructor? We use the constructor to initialize the variables, to initialize the instance variables. Okay, I have initialized the three variables. I have declared three variables. Okay, in Python, we have to declare variables in constructor. Of course, there are some class variables and static variables are there. Instance variables we have to declare inside the constructor, and we have to use the self keyword. Self dot name, self dot college, self dot course. Whatever the variables you want to declare, you have to use the self dot and you have to provide the variable name. Okay, so class is ready and the constructor is ready. Then I need to create an object to access this student class. So I'm creating an object s1 dot student. Okay, this will create the object. When the object is created, what happens? When the object is created, this s1 will be referred here. S1 will be referred as a self. S1 will be referred as self. And self dot name, that means S1 dot name will become Kumar. S1 dot college will become SLC. S1 dot course will become Python. Okay. So the variables will be initialized here as per the object name you have provided. Later in my program, after declaring the object, I can refer them. If I want to print them, I can print them. If I want to use them in any other calculation, I can use them. Okay, can we take yes directly in place keyword self, or self is default and we need to take only self? We have to take only self. The reason is here I have declared a variable called s1, but later I may create another variable s2. Okay, So if I'm creating another variable, another object, so it should refer that one also, right? Automatically next time when I create another object, okay, it will come to here and it will become s2 dot name, s2 dot college, s2 dot course. That way it will declare the variables. Okay, of course in this example we will get the same output even for s1 and s2. Both will get the same output. Okay, remember one point here: constructor method automatically executed whenever user creates the object. Whenever the line number 8 here in this case or line number 13 are executed, this method will be executed automatically. Okay, that point you have to remember. Okay, for now we have seen one example with the hard coded values, hard coded variable declaration. The problem with this one is, even though if I'm creating 10 objects for student class, I will have the student name as Kumar only, college name as SLC only, course name as Python only, but I want different values for the different users. Okay, how can I do that? So you understand the problem? Just to show you how to declare a variable, I have written like this for now. Okay, but actually when you are using this kind of method, okay, this kind of way, what happens? Even if I create s1 equals to student, even if I create s2 equals to student, s3 equals to student, n number of objects if I'm creating also, I'll get a name as Kumar only, college as SLC only, course as Python only. So what we have to do is, while creating the object, we have to pass the parameters. We have to pass the parameters. Not we should not hard code them. Okay, how to write one parameterized constructor and how to pass the values, I'll show you now. Okay, in this program, any questions in this program? Let us go slowly, no problem. Let's try to understand each program. Everyone understand this program? Yes or no? Is this clear so far? Okay, let's go to the next program. Can we define a method, Tarun? Yes, we can define. We'll go one by one. First, let us concentrate on the variables part. Then we will concentrate on the methods part. Okay. So I just want to mix everything. Slowly we'll go one by one. So next I'll take another program, class 3. Okay. Class student, for example. Okay. Define init. Here I can pass the variables name, college, course. Two variables I'm passing here. Yeah, we can write the class without constructor, but we cannot use the instance variables. Okay, I'll be showing you different combinations, friends. Don't worry. Whatever the example I'm telling you, try to focus and try to understand that part. If you are good with that example, I'm happy. Okay, I'll be showing you different combinations. So all your questions will be clarified. So let us go slowly, one by one, step by step. So initially we saw how to declare one class with only documentation string. Then we saw with constructor. Okay, constructor and variables. Next we are seeing with constructor and parameters. Next we will see class with the methods, how to use the method. Then we'll see class variables, static variables, one by one. Okay, one by one we'll go. Okay, whatever the example I'm explaining you, till that make sure you are understanding. Okay, combinations, there are different combinations we need to understand. There are a few more concepts as part of class declaration we need to understand. I'll make sure I'll be teaching you everything. Okay, so okay, now yeah, let me say self dot name equals to name, self dot college equals to college, self dot course equals to course. Okay, done. That's it. Simple, very much simple. So let me create one object. S1 equals to student of, here I can say Rajesh SLC Python. Now if I print s1 dot student, sorry, s1 dot name. Okay, for okay, let me write print s1 dot college, print s1 dot course. What happens now? What happens now? Now I'm not passing any hard-coded values here. I'm not initializing the variables with the hard-coded values. I am passing the arguments. Based on the argument values, the variables will be declared. So what is the advantage of this example? Previously, even if I create 100 objects also, for all the 100 objects, I can see here. Even if I'm creating S1 equals to student, S100 equals to student, S20 equals to student, everyone will have the name as Kumar. Everyone will have the college as SLC, course as Python. Okay, for every object we are providing only same data, but in real time we need different type of data for different object, right? So how can I pass the different here? So for that I'm taking some parameters in the constructor. So when I create an object like this, student object like this, by passing the all the parameters, what happens here, this Rajesh will be assigned to this name parameter, SLC will be passed to college parameter, Python will be passed to course parameter. Next, there are three variables declared: name, college, course. This name will be assigned to here. So Rajesh will be assigned to name, SLC will be assigned to college, course Python will be assigned to course. Okay, if you are getting confused between this name and this name, I'll say this is parameter name, this is parameter college, parameter course. Okay, I'll say p here, p p p. Okay, just to avoid confusion. So here this Rajesh will be assigned to p name, SLC will be assigned to p college, Python will be assigned to p course. Okay, this self means this S1. S1 is the object, or this you can consider this. So this dot name equals to self dot name equals to p name, self dot college equals to p college, self dot course equals to p course. So all the values are assigned here. So for example, if I create another object now, okay, let me run this program first. If I run this program first, run, I'm selecting class 3. See, Rajesh SLC Python I got now. Okay, if I create another object, S2 equals to student. Okay, Kumar SLC Azure. Okay, if I write like this, okay, just to write print in single line, I'm writing like this. Don't get confused. Name, sorry, S2 dot name, S2 dot name, S2 dot college, S2 dot course. Okay, here also I'll print in the same line. You can see the output in the same line and we can compare easily. Okay, done. Now I'm running the program. What is the output I will get? Rajesh SLC Python, Kumar SLC Azure. Okay, for S1 object, S1 is a real instance for student Rajesh. S2 refers to the student Kumar. Okay, all the students in an organization will have same type of metadata or same type of properties. Name, college, course, they will be same. Say for example, after line number 12, if I print s1 dot name, what is the output I'll get? S1 dot name. If I say, what happens? For line number 14, what is the output? Any guess what output I'll get for s1.name? Rajesh or Kumar? Rajesh or Kumar? Rajesh, right? You guys are correct. So when we created an object for S1, one block for S1 will be created and S1 name will be referred to that. S2 is a separate block. Okay. In S1 we have three variables and we have the values here. For S2 we have three variables and different values here. When you are referring S1.name, for S1.name what you have provided initially, Rajesh, that will be available only. Okay, that will only be available. It will not be changed. Say for example, I said like this, S1.name equals to Kamal. I said like this. Now tell me what is the output for line number 14. In between, I tried to change the value of a instance variable. What happens? Will it become a Kamal or will it be same as Rajesh? It will become Kamal. You are right. So if I run this, see, I got the Kamal here. Okay. If I don't write this, what is the value I'll get? I'll get Rajesh. Okay. Once the variable is declared, its value will be related to this variable only and it will not be changed until unless you change it. Okay. So object, you got some idea? So how you have to think this is fruit for your comparison, for your understanding. The class student is a fruit. Okay. S1 is apple fruit, S2 is banana fruit. Like that you have to understand. S1 and S2 have physical existence. They have some different properties, and a class student is virtual. So far so good. Or any questions? Okay. Let us. Okay. We have seen some examples with object creation and variables, right? Let us write a program. Let us define one class with the methods. Okay. Let me write one more program. So class 4. While you are practicing also, verify one by one. First check class 1. Make sure you are understanding that. Class 2, class 3, class 4, like that. Okay. So let me write one more class. Say for example, some random class some demo class I'll take. Okay. So I'll define one constructor, self dot a equals to 10, for example, some random variable I have taken. Next I'll define one method, define display some method. Okay. Now I'll say print self dot a. Okay. I have written one method here. Okay. If you don't want this, you can write some other things also, like print class or instance method, anything, test method you can say. Okay. Now see here, I have declared one class demo. Okay. I have declared one constructor, define constructor self dot a equals to 10. That means I have declared one variable a for the instance and its value is 10. I initialized the value to 10. Okay. Next I have declared one method I have declared. In this method, what I'm saying here, so print test method. Whenever I'm calling this method, first it will print a test method, then it will print self.a. That means that object related a value will be printed. Okay, it's a simple method. do I need to write this self? Is this self keyword is compulsory for the methods or not? You may get some doubt. Okay. If you are writing an instance based method, you have to use the self. If you are not writing instance based method, you don't have to write the self. What is a instance based method, what is a not instance based method? Don't worry for now. Okay, I have to explain you different variable types, different methods types also. Okay, I'll be talking in detail maybe in the next class. Okay, for now, just try to understand. I have declared one instance based method. I have declared one method and I have to pass the self. Okay, so let me declare, let me create one object, say obj equals to test. Okay, this we know. We can create an object, demo, object demo. Fine. Now I'll say object dot display. Okay, if I run this program, what is the output I'll get? What is the output I'll get? Any guess? Test method and 10. Correct. Test method and 10. Okay, if I run this, so run. See here, test method and 10. How it came here? When I create an object, first this constructor will be executed. Okay, constructor will be executed. In the constructor, we have declared a variable self.a equals to 10. Self.a equals to 10. So variable variable a is declared and its value is initialized to 10. Okay, cool. Next, next in the line number 10, I'm calling one method, object.display. Object.display. So this method will be called. Test method will be printed. Self.a will be printed. Okay. Say for example, instead of hard coding here, say I have taken like this. Okay. And while creating an object, I'm passing 20 here. Okay, if I run this program now, what happens? 20 will be assigned to x and this x value will be assigned to variable a. So 20, test method and 20 will be printed. Test method and 20 will be printed. Okay, we are good with this one. Okay, I'll create another object, object 2. Object 2 equals to demo 30. Object dot display. What happens now? What happens now? When line number 12 and 13 are executed, for object 2, a variable value is 30. So 30 will be printed for that one. See here, test method and 20. Sorry, here I have to provide object 2. Object 2. So 30 will be printed. So these are instance based variables. Okay, based on the instance you are referring, it will refer the different object and its value. What is the use of display function? Self in display function. Okay, when you want to refer the same object related data, we have to use this one. Okay, if you don't want to refer to variable a, you don't require this self.a. Simple. If you want to refer any instance based variables, you have to refer the self dot that variable name. If you don't want, you don't have to use that. As simple as that. Okay, people are having some questions. Maybe this kind of syntax is new to you guys, so don't worry. We will be covering all the different types of cases. By seeing the examples, you can understand. Okay, here I have to tell you one more point. Say if I say print constructor. Okay, if I run the program, what happens is constructor also printed. Okay, let me tell you this way. Okay, what is the output for my program? What would be the output for my program? So in the line number 10, I'm creating an object. Whenever we are creating an object, constructor will be executed. So constructor will be printed as output constructor. Okay. In the line number 11, I'm saying object dot display. So test method will be printed and 20 will be printed. Okay. Then in the line number 12, I'm calling constructor again. I'm calling the constructor again. So constructor will be printed again. Okay, the point here to remember is methods will be executed if you are calling the methods. Otherwise, they will not be executed. Okay, but constructor, when you are declaring an object, automatically the constructor will be called. That you have to remember. Okay, constructor, test method, 20, again constructor. The constructor which is repeated is coming from the line number 12. In the line number 12, I am declaring a object. Whenever I am declaring an object, the constructor will be triggered. So why it's printing the constructor method. Okay. Okay. Till now. Okay. Till now, we have seen declaration of class. Okay. We have seen declaration of class with the docstring, with variables and methods. Okay. Why 30 is not printed? Because I'm not calling this method. I'm not calling display method. If I call the display method, I'll get that obj2.display. If I call that method related code will be executed. See here. Okay. Declaration of a class. Okay, we have seen like example class, student, and a docstring, some docstring, some constructor. Okay, some method. This syntax we have seen. Okay, class declaration we have seen. Next, we have seen initialization of variable in constructor. We have seen example for initialization of variable in the constructor. Also, we have seen initialization variables by providing the parameters. Instead of providing the hard-coded values, we have seen an example with the parameters. Okay. Then we have seen class with method. Class with method. We have seen an example for class with method. Up to this part, are you clear or do you have any questions? Okay. If you are having any confusion still, let me recap first. Okay. We tried a simple class. Class name. This is optional. Documentation string. Documentation string. Okay. I created one object for the class. I printed the documentation string. Not only documentation string, any variable names you can refer using the object dot the variable names. Okay, this is first example we have seen. The second example we have seen is with constructor. I declared one class and I declared one constructor. In the constructor, I have taken three variables and I hard coded three values for the three respective variables. Later, outside the class, I created an object for the class. I try to access the variables of the class. I try to access the variables of this S1 instance, name, college, course. I try to print here, not only for printing, for your any kind of calculation related operations also, you can refer them like a variables. Same like how you use the variables, you can refer the object related variables also. Okay. This is simple example for writing one constructor and initializing the variables and referring the variables. Okay. This is we have seen. Next, instead of hard-coded values here, we tried parameterized values. Here, After self, I have to provide the parameter names, and I can use those parameters names to initialize the variables. While creating an object, I have to pass the values here. You may see 4 parameters here, but we are passing 3 parameters here. Okay, self is a default object, default parameter that refers to your object. So you have to pass only values for these variables, these parameters. So Rajesh, SLC and Python will be replaced here. P name, P college and P course. Self means it will refer the object name. When you are dealing with the S1 related variables, the self will refer to S1. When you are dealing with the S2 related variables, self will refer to S2. Okay, like that self will work. So when line number 8 gets executed, for your easy way of understanding, you can remember self means S1 here. P name means Rajesh. Next SLC Python. These are the variables. When line number 11, S2 will be referred in the self, and Kumar will be the P name, SLC will be the P college, Azure equals to P course. Okay, that way you have to remember. This is parameterized constructor. Okay, that we have seen an example. Next, I have shown you one example for one instance-based method. Instance-based method. So I declared one method here, define display, self, and self is important. This must be there for instance-based methods. Here I have written print test method. Whatever I want, I can write here. Okay. I want to print the variable value also. So I said self dot a. In other programming languages, we refer like this dot a, this dot name, like that. Here we refer as self dot a. Okay. So this is a method, this is a constructor. There are some differences. Constructor will be executed whenever you are declaring an object. Whenever you are creating an object for the class, constructor will be automatically executed. But methods are not like that. Methods, you have to call them, then only they will be executed. Calling means object.display, object.add, or object.mad, multiplication, what are the method name you provided, you have to call them using the object name, object dot display, like that. Okay, for your method also, if you want to pass any variables, yes, you can pass the variables. Maybe if I want to pass some variable like this name, I can pass it. Say name. Here I have to pass the name. Say Kumar, say Rajesh. Okay, if I run this program, see here 30 and Rajesh, 20 and Kumar. I got the values. Same like how you are passing the parameters to the constructor, in the same way you can pass the values for methods also. Okay, are you comfortable with these 4 examples? If you are comfortable with these 4 examples, I am good. You may have some more questions. This self kind of thing will be new for those who has already some experience, so don't worry, we'll some more examples and some more combinations. You will get all your questions clarified. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, this doubt is related to this self, sir. So when it
Hmm.
comes to this method, sir, this method def display self is there, right? So when you are calling this method using an object, so this self will automatically become that name of the object, right? So, in simple words,
The self will automatically.
become that object. Like suppose if I give an object
Yes.
S1, so the self will
Yes.
become S1.
Correct.
So if I mention, like if I declare one more object like S2, the self will become S2. So it automatically keep on changing it, right?
Yes. So automatically keep on changing means how you have to understand is, say for example, here I have an object called obj. Okay. Using obj, if I am using any methods here, okay, self will be obj only. Okay. If I'm using obj2, if I created another object, when I'm referring to obj2, and if I'm calling any methods, if I'm initializing any variables, they are referred to. Self means self will be referred to object2. Self is like placeholder only. Okay, it does not have any fixed value here. Whatever the object you are using, that object will be referred as self. That way you have to understand the current object, the current operation based on the current execution, the current object will be known as self.
So one last out, sir. One last
Yeah,
one.
you can ask a number of questions. Current
So suppose if
object.
where you see this 11th line, sir, object dot display Kumar is there, right? Suppose if
Yeah.
I declare it after the 13th line, so first obj, that self will become obj2, then afterwards will become obj1, right?
This way you are asking?
Yeah, like this.
Okay.
Now the self will become, like, first it will execute the 12th line obj2, so self will become obj2, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
In the
So
line number
when you're
13,
calling it,
in the line number 13,
yes,
what does it mean by self? Is it object or object?
object, only object, line number 13.
Yes.
Okay. So it depends on calling, sir, that's all, right?
Yeah. Self is nothing but whatever the object you have. That's it. You can remember blindly. This order doesn't matter. While you are consuming the object, the order doesn't matter. What are the methods you are calling? What are the variables you are referring? Object dot you are saying, right? That object is self.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm thinking, can I say any other example? So for example, I have one membership card, for example, okay, with some XYZ organization. Okay. So I have maybe better example. Okay, for understanding self and object relation, you can think this way. Okay, I have a membership card, for example, with some XYZ organization. Okay, if I took that card and if I go to that XYZ organization, if I consume the things, whatever the purchase I want to perform, if I show them based on the card number, they will provide me some discounts. Whatever the functionalities I want to do, I'll do that. I'll come back. Fine. I have given you that membership card to maybe Abhishek. I have given. Okay, Abhishek went to the same XYZ organization, so they will take the membership card. They will process whatever the things I'm going to purchase. Done. Okay, what is the self here? You can say that membership card is the self. For example, first time when I went with that one, maybe it's a bad example. It is going to static related. Okay, I'm trying to provide any real time example. Okay, we'll try to give an example. Okay, let me think. Okay, at least you got what does it mean by self, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you are having any doubt still, we'll try to provide some example in the next class. Okay, I'm not getting proper example now. Okay, any other questions from anyone?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Shall we use one and more constructors in one class, sir?
Ideally, no. In Python.
Okay, sir.
Try. It is accepting. Actually, there is one thing like even if you write more constructors, it will ignore the previous one.
Okay, sir.
Okay, only one constructor will be accepted. Even if you provide also, even if you write in the class also the recent one will be considered and the previous one will be overwritten. This is one thing with Python only. In other programming languages, you can write multiple constructors, but here, even if you are writing different constructors also, the recent one, the last one, what you have written, that will only work for you. Okay, there is a reason, and there's a concept behind this one. We will be talking, okay, in next sessions.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Okay.
is tab space mandatory, sir?
Yes, tab
Tab
space is
space
mandatory.
mandatory for definition and the print functions.
Yes. Tab space is mandatory. This means like in other programming languages, like if I write a function A, they write braces, right? Braces, and they will start writing the code. But in Python, we don't have the concept of braces. We have to provide the indentation, okay, like this. We have to provide the indentation. Only that proper spacing related lines will be considered to that related method. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Let me talk about this self. I got some idea. If you are having any questions, say for example, now Harani asked me one question. Okay. Say Ganesh asked me one question. Tarun asked me one question. Okay. For me, you are all students. You are all students only. You are all students. Okay. Say for example, first Harani asked me one question. Assume that. Okay, I'm taking some random names. Okay. Okay. Here, who is Harani? Harani is student only. Harani is a student only. If Harani came to me personally, she is asking me some questions. She asked me to explain line by line debugging on the paper. She asked me. Okay. So I have explained her. She left. Okay. Someone asked me who came and who is that person. I tell them my student came to get some questions clarified. Okay. I said a student of mine came to me to get her doubts clarified. Okay. Next, after some time, Ganesh came to me, or I called Ganesh. And I provided him a test. I asked him to write a test. If someone asks me whom you are talking to, I'll tell I'm talking to my student. I'm talking to my student, right? Right or wrong? After some time, again after some time, Tarun is there. Tarun called me. Maybe Tarun's brother called me. Okay. Again, who is Tarun? If someone asks whose brother it is, I'll tell my student's brother, right? Right or wrong? Here, student is self. Student is self. Harini is object 1. Ganesh is object 2. Tarun is object 3. Okay. Whenever when I'm talking to Harini is having a name, Harini. Okay. She is having some qualification. She is having some different location, personal address, some blah 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 properties. She is having different values for some certain properties. Okay, maybe like for students, I have some properties: name, course they joined, batch number, for example. Okay, name for the first student, name is Harini. Course for the first student, course is Python. Batch number for the first student, batch number is 2, for example. When Ganesh came, name is Ganesh, course is Azure, batch is 36 batch. Tarun, name is Tarun, course is some DevOps, batch is 3. Okay, they will be having different properties. I don't mind. They are all students to me. Whenever I am referring to Harini, I can refer as Harini or I can refer as student. Same with Ganesh, same with Tarun. Okay, so for a compiler, for an interpreter, self is like a student. Self is like a student. Whenever it is talking to a specific student, it represents that specific student. Okay, if in general it is student only. If I'm talking to Harini, I'll say it is Harini. If I'm talking to Ganesh, I'll say Ganesh. If I'm talking to Tarun, it refers to Tarun. Okay, self means you can compare this way and you can understand. Is it clear now, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Still, any doubts you have or any clarification required? Please let me know. I'll try to clarify. I'll share the programs. Videos actually, after completing the class, it is taking some time more than hour. It is taking time to process. So why I'm unable to share the videos quickly. Okay. Okay, I'll share the programs for now in the same Google Drive. I'll create another folder, Advanced Python. I will be uploading the files there. Please refer to the programs, execute them in your system, see the output and try to understand. Okay, line by line, every word in the program should be familiar to you. Make sure you understand every word of the program. Then only there is no gray area, there is no black area, shadows. Okay, everything should be open and everything you should understand. If you don't understand, if you feel uh, uncomfortable to understand anything, for example self, okay, even though I'm saying object, you may not be getting more clarity. You let me know, I'll try to explain in a different way. I may take time, but I'll definitely clarify your question. Okay, so okay, please do practice. Please don't neglect. From today onwards, you have to practice. Otherwise, you will get confused. So every program you have to practice. Okay. Okay, guys. If you don't have any questions, I want to conclude for today. Let's catch up tomorrow, same time, 10:30. Is that fine?